So Trump had posted this really pretty much right after the debate. Trump did glorious. I mean, unbelievably glorious. Not that I really had too much doubts about it, but and I'll give CNN credit. They didn't play games, so like having to try to help Joe over the finish line. But they weren't the only media that did that with the debates last time. Fox did it too. That Chris Wallace. But Biden looked horrible. He sounded horrible. He looked horrible. He does not look well. He doesn't even look like he's there. But Trump, I mean, he nailed it on every single thing. He nailed it. And I would imagine it's frustrating for him, too. Like, the two best things he said, one of them was, why are we doing this? Why are we having this debate? He's the worst president in history. There's nothing truer than that. It's absolute. Why are we having a debate when there's nothing to debate here? He's the worst president in history. So that was the number one thing. The other best thing he said was when he said, I wish he would do a good job. Because he means that. Because look, President Trump is the only president that left the White House with less money than when he went in. He went in with more than when he left because he donated his paycheck. Every other president leaves with more money. They go in with less, come out with millions somehow. And what does Biden have to show for his life? He's been nothing but a career politician, and he's done nothing. He's done nothing. When Trump said that, he's called black super predators, he has. He's been very... Joe Biden has a history of being racist, but that party does. They're the party that wanted... The Democrats are the party that wanted to keep slavery going. Just because they've turned that around doesn't mean you have to look at the history of that. They literally are. They were the ones that... They were your Ku Klux Klan. They looked up to that Byrd that was in Congress. BYRD. He's dead now, but he was there. He was Hillary Clinton. Look, I think she did a eulogy on him. It was like her mentor. He was in the Ku Klux Klan. That's who the Democrats are. Why do you think when there's a State of the Union, all the women dress in white, they might as well just put those Ku Klux Klan hats on? It would be more suited. But they all sit together. That's what they look like because they literally were the Klan. Yeah. They loved that Senator Byrd. In fact, he didn't denounce his being in the, I think he was a grand wizard or something in the Klan too. You can look it up, but the Democrats loved him, and he didn't denounce being part of the Klan until he was on his deathbed. So they praised him and loved him, and he was in the Senate, and he was in the Ku Klux Klan. So yeah, that's who the Democrats have always been. So when Trump said, about Biden calling black super predators, that's not the only things that he's called them in his history. Back in his younger days, I mean, the way he treated Clarence Thomas during his hearing to get on the Supreme, he was horrible. He was so racist, so obvious, because Joe Biden was such an arrogant piece of shit back then. And that's who he's always, how he always has been. He's always been a racist. He just says whatever he has to get what he wants, but he's done nothing except be a career politician his whole life. So when Trump said he wishes he would do a good job, he means it. Because Trump gets nothing out of going into the presidency. He doesn't. He has all these beautiful resorts where he could play golf, enjoy his life, not sit in courtrooms 8 hours a day over bullshit cases. And yet people want to say, no, he wants all the power. The presidents don't really have all that much power, first of all. But no, nobody does this no. This is the same shit they said before. I think that like most normal people in America, you would imagine, that what Trump is saying is true. He wishes that Biden was doing a good job. He's said over and over again, if he just wouldn't have touched the border, if he wouldn't have if he would have left things alone, it would have been fine. But he went in there to do all this globalist shit because it's puppets behind Biden that are controlling him, and things would have been fine. That's what Trump would like. Who would want to have to go through what Trump's going through? And you think this man's doing it all for power? No, fuck no. He's doing it because of his children and his children's children, so that they will live in a free country. It's his duty. That's how I'm sure how he looks at it. But like he said, he would rather not do it. That's why he didn't run for so long. He said to Oprah back in the 80s, I would only run if I saw that there was a reason to do it. So it was never something that was at the top of his list. But he doesn't want to see the country fall into communism either. So, yeah, I think anybody would much rather be on their golf courses, whether in Scotland or New Jersey or in Palm Beach. I mean, he has so many all over the world. I think he'd much rather be playing golf, enjoying himself, his family, than sitting in New York courtrooms 8 hours a day over bullshit. That's just bullshit cases. It would be easier if Biden had just went in and just kept things alone. This isn't a power trip for Trump. This is truly just him wanting to, he doesn't want to see the country fall into communism, because if it does, then his children will have to live with that, and his grandchildren. And so, like anybody, I think, in America that has a brain and has a thinking process, that's where, we're halfway there already. It's not like the Hitler communism or the Soviet Union immediately turned dark into communism overnight. No, it was a slow process into it. It always is. They do it. They implement it slowly. They've implemented socialism slowly, and now they've been implementing the communism slowly. Communism under the digital system. So, yeah, I don't think Trump would absolutely, anybody who has a brain knows that this isn't about power for him. He's more powerful not being president. Really, most people are, because as president, you're in a servant kind of position. Yeah, you can say what the women on The View want to say, and that he's going to hold the power to the secret nukes. Well, I don't think anybody in their right mind is, not in their right mind, I mean their thinking mind. I think most people would be more worried about Joe Biden having those, but I don't think he's the one that has control of them. And besides, Joe Biden is controlled, but Trump did glorious. He nailed it, and everything Joe Biden said was just either nonsensical, or you could say he does better. He was able to get past 2 sentences, but again, whenever he goes beyond 2 sentences, he has to be jacked up on something, because he normally can't do it. That's why he falls all the time. He can't even function literally, like walking wise. So obviously, to do this debate, he had to have been being jacked up on something, steroids, stimulants, who knows. But I mean, it's not like Joe Biden. I mean, there was cocaine found in the White House, if people remember. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't just Hunter. I mean, back, a year or 2 ago. But we'll never find the truth out about that. Probably when Trump comes in, we would. But yeah, the Secret Service found it. Yeah, Hunter was there. It was like the July 4th weekend or something like that a couple of years ago, or last year. But Joe Biden does it too. Yeah, they all do it. I mean, that's part of the reason Trump said he wanted a drug test, but they were never going to make him do Biden do a drug test. But he clearly is pumped up on something, and you can tell because he's so angry. Everything he says is angry. But he actually didn't look well at all during this. Trump looked fabulous. And you know what? Trump is right that he feels like he did 30 years ago, and he does look young. You know why? Because when you're a liar and you're in corruption, you age faster. You do. It's true. They don't want to tell you that, but it's true. That's why the women on The View, they go on there and they get the gray hair. They have to start doing, like, changing their face and everything early, because they literally get on TV every day. And the same with the media, and they lie and lie. And when it's just, I mean, God talks about it. You age yourself when you lie all the time. So most men probably wouldn't care about that so much. I mean, maybe, but that's the reason why you see women in Hollywood, and most especially the women on The View, why they have to go get so many treatments, facials, Botox, fillers, all that, and then they just start looking weird. Yeah, it's because when you live a life where you're lying all the time, well, it corrupts you altogether and it ages you. There's a science behind it. I would know.